What's up everyone, my name is Kryptiix, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be creating a Bed Wars map tier list. If you do not know what a tier list is, it's basically where you rank a bunch of things in a certain category from best to worst and everything in between. If you do enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. It really supports me and it motivates me to create more videos just like this. Now without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright everyone, so here we are in our tier list and we're going to start off in opposite alphabetical order from Z to A. And also guys, by the way, I'm only doing solos and doubles maps in rotation, not outdated ones. And I'm also not doing like the squad maps, and I'm also not doing dream maps. The first map we have is Waterfall. I think honestly Waterfall is a really good map. It reminds me of Lightstone a little bit. In my opinion, I don't really think it's cool that the emeralds are above like where the diamonds are so people can jump down there. It makes it really easy to grind a ton of diamonds. But I think overall it's a very solid map. I think I'm gonna put this in B. Next up we have Toro, and I actually think Toro is really underrated. I think it's a fast rush. I always like fast rush maps instead of slow gen maps. I think Toro is a pretty solid map, but in my opinion, I don't think it can be A or S tier. I think I can probably put this in the same way as probably Waterfall in my opinion. Also, by the way guys, these are all completely my opinion. If you have your own opinions, you can leave them down in the comments. Moving on, we have a very popular one, Speedway. I think Speedway is a great map. I know a lot of sweats play it, so I don't really know I play it as much as I want to. I don't like that it's a slow gen map, but in general, I really like how the map is shaped, how the side rushes are, and how the emeralds are. But just because it's a slow gen in my opinion, I think I'm gonna have to put it in A. Next up, we got Solas. Solas is a lot like Lighthouse, which I really like. I'm always a big fan of those ones where you diagonal rush to diamonds and there's always your side rushes. But because it's a little different than Lighthouse, I don't really like how the emeralds is shaped, and I don't like how you have to go up for diamonds. I think just because of that, I'm going to put it in A tier instead of S tier. Next up, we have Skyrise. Skyrise, I think, in my opinion, is a very good map. I like it. It's fast gen, which I enjoy. It's kind of like a Speedway, but fast gen. And in general, I think it's a really good map. So in the end, I think I got to put this as my very first S tier. Remember, these are all my opinion. You can debate in the comments. Moving on, we have Siege. Siege, in my opinion, isn't really that good of a map. It reminds me of a lot of Orbit, so it's not really that good. I think the one part that's really annoying is like the emerald generator, so you can see my mouse. So if someone's chasing and you're supposed to collect emeralds, you have to tower up and you can't just go around. So I think that's really annoying in my opinion, so emeralds aren't really that my favorite. But other than the map, it's a solid map. I don't really think it's good. I also don't know why there's this random island that like has no apparent like reason of being there. So I think I'm gonna put this as C. Moving on, we have Root. Root is a really fast generator map. But I think it's a little weird how like the emeralds like connect to every single diamond generator, which is a little annoying. So basically whoever goes to mid is really stacked, and I don't think that's a really good thing. So I think I'm gonna put Rooted in D. So now we're moving on to Pernicious. Pernicious is a really good map. It's fast generator. I like how the emeralds are placed, and I think in general it's a really good map. I don't really know what the theme is, but all I know is it's fast generator. I like how the diamonds are shaped where I call them diamond rushes, and there's also side rushes. So it's a little confusing on how people rush on this map, but other than that, I think it's a good map. So I think I'm debating between A and S tier. I think though I'm gonna have to put it in, I'm gonna put it in A tier. It's debatable between S and A tier. Next up, we got Orchestra, probably the most debatable one between every single map. This is one of those maps that you either love them or you hate them, and for me, it's one that I hate. I mean, I'm not gonna hate it so much, I'm gonna put it in F, but I don't think it's that great of a map in my opinion. I like how the diamonds are placed, but I don't like how it's slow gen, and I don't like how the emeralds are, like how they connect to every single base. So I think I'm gonna put it in C. Next up, we have Orbit. Orbit's really similar to Siege in my opinion, though it doesn't have that one random island. I think it's a little better than Siege, but I don't really know if it's good enough to go into B. So I think I'm gonna put it in C. However, I'm not you have to keep in mind that it's better than Siege in my opinion. Moving on, we have Lightstone. Lightstone's very similar in my opinion to Waterfall, and I think it's a little better than Waterfall. I also like how everything is shaped in my opinion. Like, there's like an obvious way on how you're supposed to rush. You're supposed to rush your side rush. There's only one rush that you're designated to go to, and that's the only thing that you have to do. So it's really hard to get ambushed in this map, which I like, meaning it's a lot more easier to keep your bed than on maps such as like Speedway or what I was talking about, Orchestra. So I think I'm gonna put this in A. Moving on, we have Lighthouse. I honestly don't think we have to talk much about this. Such a great map. Like I was talking about Solas, I don't like how the diamonds are, you have to build up to get them. You have to diagonal up. This one, you just have to diagonal. You barely have to go up on this one. I always love when you have to diagonal rush to diamonds. It's just my favorite. This one's going in S tier. Moving on, we have Inka. Really reminds me of Lighthouse. The only thing that I see different than this between Lighthouse is obviously the theme. And I also think the emerald generators are a little different. So it's really like a Lighthouse, except it's fast generators. So in my opinion, it might be better than Lighthouse. I don't know. It's a hard debate between these two, but all I know is this one's going in S tier as well. Moving on, we have Glacier. Glacier is actually a good map as well. I don't think it's enough to go into S tier in my opinion, but I think it's a really, really good map. It reminds me a lot of Lightstone and Waterfall, except it has the middle similar to Pernicious. And because both of those are in A tier, I don't think I could give it S tier, but I'm gonna put it in A tier definitely. Alright, so the next map is Gateway. I don't think Gateway is the best map in my opinion, but it's definitely up there. I don't believe it deserves a C or a D, but I don't necessarily believe it deserves an A or an S. So I think I'm gonna put this one in B. So this map is Crypt. In my opinion, I don't really think Crypt is that good of a map, but I'm a little biased because my name is Kryptiix and it has Crypt in it, so I'm a little biased in that one. So I think what I would normally do is I'd probably normally put this in C. I also think it's really, really weird how the diamonds are cut out like that, how they're kind of like separated from the normal islands. But instead of putting it into a C, I guess I'm gonna put it into a B. Moving on, we have Krogorm. Krogorm, I don't really see that often on the Bedwars map rotation. I think I played it like once or twice. But I think this map's a little similar to, I think, like Ashfire or Crypt. It kind of has like a diagonal rush, which is a little weird. I always like side rushes or diamond rushes instead of like the diagonal rushes because I think those are a little weird. But I don't really think it's that great of a map. I think I'm going to put this in D. So this map is Cliffside. Cliffside's a little weird. It reminds me a lot of Waterfall, where you have to use these staircases to go up to emeralds. But I think the weird part is you have to bridge from these ways, or if not, you have to go through all these staircases. This map is also very spread out, which I don't really like. But in general, it's not really that great of a map. I think I'm going to put this in D as well. Moving on, we have Cascade. Cascade is a little similar to something like Rooted or Acropolis, where like emeralds and diamonds are like they're literally combined. But what I do like is how it's very compact and how everything is together. So I don't really think I can put it in D. So I think I'm gonna have to debate between B or C. I think I'm just gonna put it in, I'll put it in C. Next up, we have Biohazard. Biohazard's a little weird of a map. It's kind of like Siege, kind of. Yeah, because of all these diamond generators. So I mean, it's really honestly necessarily just like Siege or Orbit. So I think I'm just gonna put it in the exact same place. All right, we're going into the final stretch. Here we have Ashfire. I think this is gonna have to be the worst map here. I believe it's slow gen. Don't quote me on that. I believe it's slow gen. I think it's just really, really weird of a map. I mean, look at all these islands everywhere. I don't really understand why there's so many random islands. It makes it really, really weird on where you're supposed to go. It also has that annoying thing like Crypt where you have to diagonal rush. So I think, honestly, this is such a bad map in my opinion. I think I'm gonna have to put it in F. I'm sorry, Ashfire. All right, here we have Apollo. Apollo is a great map in my opinion. I think it's really, really underrated. But it reminds me a lot of like a fast generator Speedway. I think it's a great map, and I think I'm gonna put it the same way as Inka. This is just a fast generated Speedway, so in my opinion, just a better version of Speedway. So in my opinion, I think I'm going to put this in S tier. Moving on, we have Airshow. Airshow, in my opinion, is not really that great of a map. It's a really popular map, but it's not really my favorite. It's a very slow-paced game, in my opinion. In my opinion, just because it's such a slow gen, and because it's a little spread out, in my opinion, I think I'm going to put this one in... I'll cut it some slack. I'll put it in C. All right, so we're officially on the final map, and the final map is, oh boy, it's Acropolis. This is another map where it's either you love it or you hate it, and this is another one that in my opinion I just don't really like it. I don't like, similar to stuff like Rooted and stuff, everything is combined. Like if you just go around and mid, you just get completely stacked. And it's also such a giant map, and literally anywhere, anyone could be anywhere. But then again, I don't think it's as bad as Ashfire, so I think this one I'm gonna put in E. So there you have it, folks. That is our tier list. If you have anything you could change, feel free to leave it in the comment section. And thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will see ya.